Hey everybody, Matthew here, CanadianRenegade.com. Today I'm going to continue my discussion on Alberta's carbon tax, and you're not going to want to miss this discussion because the things that I'm going to talk about today, the mainstream media refuses to talk about, but they're important and they do affect you. This is the big kahuna, the legislation itself. So the legislation is Bill 20. It's the Climate Leadership Implementation Act. And it was passed, I think it was passed in June 2016, and the taxes themselves take effect January 1st, 2017. Section 53 says, for the purpose of carrying out duties under this act and the regulations, the minister or an officer may enter on any land, whether or not that land is enclosed. Section 54(1), for the purpose of carrying out duties under the Act and the regulations, the minister or an officer may do all or any of the following. A, subject to subsection 4, enter without a warrant. So any land, whether or not it's fenced, without a warrant at any reasonable time, the following premises for the purpose of conducting an inspection, audit, or examination. 1. Any premises used by the person in connection with the refinement, production, importation, exportation, storage, that could be you if you have a jerry can, of fuel somewhere, transportation, do you drive a vehicle, distribution, purchase, sale, blending or rebranding, or use of fuel. So if you have a natural gas heater in your shed or your shop or your garage. And the only limitation to these powers is section 54(4). The minister or an officer shall not enter any premises that are a dwelling house except with the consent of the occupant. So your dwelling house, they need a warrant for. But any other part of your property, if you have a farm, your sheds, your outbuildings, your shop, your garage, all of those, they can search without a warrant, without your permission. And of course, to enforce all of this freedom-crushing legislation and property rights violating legislation, who's going to be enforcing that? Well, it's going to be the secret environment police. Section 67, offense exemption. Who's that for? Says 67, without limiting any rule of law relating to the immunity of the Crown, section 61 to 66, so this would be the offenses that are listed in section 61 to 66, do not apply to the carrying out of powers and duties in the course of investigations or undercover operations. So that's the enviro-Nazis, I guess. Or undercover operations related to the enforcement of the act by a person who at the time of the contravention of any of section 61 to 66 is A, an employee of the Crown under the minister's administration, or an officer. So, I mean, I guess they can set you up. Offer to sell you some illegal gasoline or some illegal firewood or whatever they can obviously add to this bill and make it even worse, but I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that, they wouldn't have given themselves these extraordinary powers if they weren't planning on using them at some point. The worst part about this sort of legislation is that it opens up the door for even more corruption and, dare I say, criminality. Because if you can have secret police entering property without warrants, what's to stop them from planting stuff? I mean, that's one of the main reasons why you need a warrant. What is this? Is this the Soviet provinces of Kanakistan that we're living in? Why isn't the media talking about this? We're just going to have enviro-Nazis going on farmers' land, going on people's property, breaking into people's outbuildings, shops, garages, on a hunt for what? What exactly are they expecting to find? I mean, other than dyed fuels, there's really not a lot of illegal fuels on the black market, or at least not yet. I mean, what exactly are they planning on that they need all of these enforcement provisions? That's what I'm wondering. News article I came across, and in the news article it talks about how they're basically paying off the coal power producers to shut down by 2030, and they're going to be paying them $97 million a year for the next 14 years. So that's approximately $1.4 billion that they're going to be paying these power producers to shut down coal. And so when the NDP government tells you, don't worry, your electricity rates won't go up, or we're capping the electricity rate, where do you think that money is coming from that they're paying off these coal producers? You're still paying more for electricity, you're just not seeing it on your bill. So in order to phase out coal by 2030, they're planning on increasing renewable energy sources to 30% of the electricity capacity by 2030. Are they going to actually be able to do that? I kind of doubt it. The government has a long track record of making promises and not being able to keep them. The second part of their plan to get rid of coal but still maintain the power supply is to convert some of the coal generating plants to natural gas. And Alberta already has quite a large natural gas generating capacity, but it's not actually being fully utilized yet. So here's what nobody's talking about in the media, and that's if we convert to a lot more natural gas production. Currently, natural gas electricity production is not that much more expensive than coal. But if we start generating a lot more electricity from natural gas, that's going to increase the demand for natural gas. And we also use natural gas to heat our homes. Additionally, other provinces like BC are phasing out coal. I think Ontario's already phased out coal. So the demand for natural gas to provide electricity is going to be rising over the next couple of decades, and that's going to compete with the need for natural gas for heating your homes. So your electricity bill will probably go up, and your heating bill will probably go up, because if there's greater demand for a certain amount of supply. Now, I'm sure that the supply of natural gas can come up a bit. There is some flexibility there if they increase drilling and put more wells into production. But there's only so much natural gas availability, and if the demand goes way up for natural gas, the price for natural gas is probably going to rise. So not only is your electricity going to rise, but your heating bills are probably going to go up as well. Okay, so I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please like this video. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing, and leave a comment in the comment section. And as always, remember to investigate things and think for yourself, and I'll catch you later.